Hello and good morning and welcome to our Monday Assembly. I wonder what we're going to talk about today. The words on the page say life change. What sorts of things happen in our lives when things change? Maybe you want to pause and have a think about that, but an idea I've got is things change when we move classes, things change when we move house, things change. Have a pause and see what other things you can talk about that mean they've changed. I'm sure you've come up with lots of good ideas, but let's talk about the change that I want to discuss. The question I want to talk about is, why are we in school during lockdown? Good question. Last time the country went into lockdown in March, lots of things changed. Schools closed. We were closed for quite a long time. And I bet some of you are thinking, well, what's different now? How come schools could be open now and they weren't allowed to be open before? Well, I thought it would be interesting to talk about some of those things, and I'm sure you've got some ideas as well. The first thing to talk about is the word safe. Since we closed in March, actually we weren't closed. We were in school every day, looking after children whose parents are key workers. And during that time, we learned a lot of information. We learned how to keep ourselves safe as a small group. We learned how to keep ourselves as a larger group. And then when children came back to school in September, we had to do things differently as well. Some of the things that are different, you guys are in group bubbles and you don't mix with other people. So there's a lot of things that are different to keep you safe in school. And we have to write down lots of information. And in fact, Mrs. Walker changes that information practically every week to make sure everything that's written in it keeps us all safe. And that's called our risk assessment. And that makes sure that everything we do in school is there to keep you safe. Other reasons we want to keep schools open is because your brains need to keep working. They need to keep buzzing and learning and finding out new information. And I have to tell you, since we've been back in September, the learning that you've been doing has been brilliant. Although I don't come into your classrooms as much as I'd like to, I do get to see the work you're doing. I have looked in your books and I've seen the information that your teachers have shared with me. Lots of it has involved making stuff and being outside. So our job is to keep your brains as busy as we possibly can, because learning is really important, particularly when you're young. Your brain learns so much more now than it does when you're my age or Mr. McConville's age. He's much older than me. So our job is to keep you in school and to keep you learning. I'm sure that now you can all have a chat about the things that we're doing in school to keep you safe. I've put a few pictures up there to give you an idea, but your job is always to keep yourself safe. You're going to be washing your hands. We make sure that you have your lunches in your own classrooms. We keep your bubbles, your year group classes, safe by not letting you interact with anybody else. Now, being outside and walking past somebody, that's okay. So if you're going out to playtime and another class is walking past, that's okay. But our job is to keep you as safe as we can from other bubbles. And that's your job too. And your job too is to keep yourself safe in your own bubble, not be too close to other people. Perhaps think about how close you are to other people, because they might not like it very much. So think about that as well as we move through this week. Now, I know that some of you may be worried about being in school and us not keeping you safe. So here's a good point for you to pause and have a chat as a class about what you can do if you're worried. It might be that you're worried about someone else touching your pencil case. It might be that you're worried that one of your friends is just a bit too close for comfort. It might be that you've got a cold and you're worried that you're going to sneeze. Whatever your worry is, what should you do if you are worried? Pause now and have a chat. I hope you came up with lots of good ideas. Some of the ideas that I thought of are, you've got your worry monsters in the classroom. You can write a note to put in your worry monster. You can speak to an adult at school to help you. You can speak to an adult at home to help you, because the adults at home can always be in touch with us at school if there's something you're a bit worried about. So I'm sure you came up with lots more ideas of how you can deal with things if you're not feeling safe. The picture on this screen is the latest one from the government that we need to try and remember to keep washing our hands. For those of us that are over 11, we have to cover our faces when we're around other people. I'm not around anyone else at the moment, so I don't have to do that right now. And making sure that we keep enough space. So when you go out shopping for your essentials, as we can do at the moment, make sure that you're keeping a distance from other people. Sometimes in the supermarket, it's easy to forget and you just want to reach across and get something, but remember to keep that space as well. Hands, face, space. Now, as we come to the end of our assembly, I just want you to think about all of the people we have to say thank you to. We are very lucky to be in school. There are many people who have to stay at home at the moment and can't go into work and don't really see anybody. We are so lucky that we get to come in and we get to see friends, teachers 5 days a week. But there are lots of people we need to say thank you to. We need to say thank you to the NHS staff who are working incredibly hard with all the people who are unwell, as they do every day, but they're working particularly hard at the moment, trying to keep people well and away from hospitals. We need to say thank you to all the key workers, all of our shop workers who are out there making sure that we can go out and buy the food that we need to keep going. So thank you to all of them, and all the lorry drivers that are driving the food to where it needs to be. There are so many, I can't tell you. And the last group of people we need to thank are the people who are in your classrooms now. All of the teaching staff who are in school every day trying to make sure that you are safe and that you are involved in your learning. So take a moment to think about them as we move into a really positive week. Finally, just to say, on Wednesday's the 11th of November, which is World Memorial Day, where at 11 o'clock in the morning, every single person in the whole country stops and spends 2 minutes in silence. On Wednesday morning, at about 10 to 11, Miss Emily has written an assembly for you, and you'll watch that, and then at 11 o'clock in all of our different classrooms, we will come together to do the 2 minutes silence. So remember to put that into your calendars, teachers. Wednesday, just before 11 o'clock, there's an assembly before we hold the silence together. Have a great week, everybody. Be kind to everybody, look after yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you soon.